Greetings. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to hour and 15-minute late dev chatter. And by hour and 15-minute late, I definitely don't mean 6 months, 1 hour and 15 minutes late, or anything silly like that. No, we've been streaming this whole time. What are you talking about? It absolutely hasn't been like, I don't know, has it been 6 months? How long has it been? 4 months? It's been a while since I've streamed. This was actually this is definitely the first stream of 2021. I know we did a few in the fall. We streamed a few times in the summer. But either way, greetings, hello, welcome everyone. Glad to see some people made it out at the beginning of the stream. Stoolpenner, yep, whoop, whoop, whoop. Voigtkampf, I see Code with Sean's here. Strife, I should say Foud Strife. Wheatlol. Wheat. Oh, greetings. Welcome. Hi, The Fable. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Someone followed or something, right? Oh, yeah, found. Hey, the bot's subscribed again. Thank you very much, Stoolpenner, for gifting those to the community, and I'm really glad that it picked the bot. And Wheatlol, and who else did you get with that? DevK? Awesome. That is good stuff. That is good stuff. Glad to see that when it randomly chose people, it chose some that we were hoping to see there. Calraven, welcome. Yeah, exactly. I've been streaming every day. Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, totally normal. I haven't missed any streams. What do you mean? So people might recall that my plan was to start streaming again at the beginning of this year. Not that it really matters. We're going to get into coding here in a second anyway. I'm just doing a quick intro while people are showing up. But then work got crazy, family stuff got crazy. Some family members ended up getting COVID, not anyone in our household, and other stuff going on. Don't really want to dive into all that much. I'm just getting over having been sick, not with that one, but with a different. I just got a regular cold, so you might still hear some of that in my throat. But it's good to be back. I was hoping to start a little bit earlier, but again, sick, and I can talk now, and so that is key to actually having a successful stream, is being able to talk with anyone that's in chat. So good to see you're all here. For the code, I wasn't sure what I wanted to work on, so I kind of want to keep this one just like, we're just gonna mess with stuff. Maybe the project that we like really pick up and start diving into as we start streaming again will be maybe we'll do some Interactive 7. I know I want to get back to the Chatterbot because we left that unfinished. We had been working on that and going, and then I got yanked off of streaming, and so now that I'm hoping I've got some time to stream again, I want to get regular with some of these. So I know that a bunch of people that are using Interactive 7 have been waiting for me to fix a handful of bugs and features and release a version of it, so yeah, that we need to do at some point. Speaking of, we originally built it on .NET Core 3.1. Well, technically we built it on .NET Core 3 and then I think switched it to 3.1 when that was available. But now .NET 5 exists, so we will probably be switching it to that at some point. And Wheatlol, you didn't actually have to do the exclamation point. You were looking for that one to try to trick me into thinking that the lights had been turned off, that the code had messed up. But I saw you type it anyway, so it doesn't work. So for anyone that's wondering, you can actually specify any color in chat, and that will change the colors of these little lights that are blinking around on the stream. And you don't just have to stick to named colors, you can also specify hex codes if you want. So if you want it to turn red, you just type that in. Yeah, so Sean, the reason why I don't want to mess, I want to get it to .NET 5. My thought is once it's on .NET 5, switches to any future versions will be a little bit easier also. And yeah, you could go with some really, yeah, this is really bright. Luckily, there's not a lot of it, so fuchsia doesn't hurt too much on my stream. Anybody that does big amounts of color with those kinds of features, yeah, it gets bad. Like lime can get really bad. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So the problem is, if we were just doing web or we were doing a console app or something like that, I would be totally okay with doing the bleeding edge of .NET. So jumping on the bleeding edge of .NET is totally fine, except if you are in the space we are, which is we are building an app that has a UI. And so the bleeding edge is a little bit harder because we are relying on some other packages. And without the guarantee that those packages and all the other stuff are going to update as well right away, I don't want to touch the bleeding edge on this one. So that's why we need to be in that spot. And Nick, if you want to choose a color, you will need to no spaces, or I think for colors and things like that that are multiple words. Isn't the so yes, .NET 6, that's what someone had mentioned was .NET 6 preview released. So exactly. So people should look at all the future versions of all the various code that you are going to be working with eventually. Jen's Duck, greetings. I don't have a duck hat around me right now, but welcome to the stream. I should figure out where my duck's hat ended up. But the main point being, you should always be digging into whatever the latest versions are, because sometimes you'll find that they have new features and stuff that you want to be able to use. So for example, some of the teams that I work with, because I do consulting work, I train and mentor various teams. It was funny, I was working with a team recently, and they were like, well, we're creating all these objects just to be able to do these things in the API and send this, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you this cool thing called record types that just came out. Luckily, we're using like latest versions of C#, so congratulations. You don't have to feel bad about creating little types just to do all these things anymore. They are fantastic for this. By the way, they're going to come with all of the, equality built in and all the various other stuff. It's like, yeah, you need to hash based on them, compare them, things like, it's like, yeah, built in, don't have to do anything special. You just got all these features, and basically all you do is define a constructor, and that is your type. Like, it's the equivalent of you define a constructor, and congrats, you have a type. It's got properties, it's got all the stuff you would want. It's great. It's like, yay, we finally have that. So we had been hoping for a feature a long time ago. Many of us had been asking Microsoft to add a feature called, what were they calling it back then? Because I think they were talking about putting it in like all the way back in like C#6. Default constructors, is that what they were going to call the feature? Default constructor, is that what it was? It was something like that. But either way, it didn't make it into C# like a handful of times, and then we got record types, which effectively are the same thing. Like, it's a different implementation of the same need as far as a programmer is concerned. So it solves basically the same type of problem in about the same way. We just got a slightly bigger version of it, I think would be the better description of it, because I think originally they were talking about it being almost like a way of altering a class so that it had this feature attributed to it, whereas now a record type is almost at the same level as like a class or a struct in C#. Is sort of the difference that I would say in how they implemented it. Is like my way of trying to explain the concept that happened without diving into here's all the individual features in the code of like how it's actually implemented, because nobody hopping onto a stream here is looking for that. If you're if you want to get that far into it, this is not the stream to discuss that. I try not to dive too far into that because I know that we've got people of varying degrees of experience with programming that show up here to the stream, so I try not to Oh, I know what the hangman word is, by the way. Looks like someone got it. There's a you win there. Yep, Stool Pinner got it. All you had to do was guess A, and banana becomes really obvious. Banana might be one of the easiest words if you did your first letter as A. All right, so let's dig into some code. I think we've done enough intro and chatting and things like that. Yeah. Yes. There. All right. So I don't know the status of this project, by the way. I literally haven't touched this, I think, since the time we messed with it on stream. So it's been a long time. I'm sure the build is now failing and all kinds of other stuff. It's good to be back. Thank you, Sean. hopefully we can do some more streams regularly now. My schedule is going to clear up a little bit. So, all right. So, what is this? The resolve package dependency task failed. Well, that would definitely make it not build. Why did that fail? That's a strange thing to fail. Let's have a look at our dependencies real quick. So, here's one that's got a little thingy. I wonder what it is. I wonder if something with these changed, because remember how I said bleeding edge problems? We were not even on the bleeding edge, and we were still running into problems of some of the package dependencies we were using were not actually going to line up quite right. So let's have a look. I'm betting we've got an issue here. So we're a .NET Core 3.1 app. Let's see. Which is this the right one? Yeah, it is. WPF from .NET. Well, let's have a look. .NET 5 breaking changes for WPF and WinForms. Yeah, sure. And then the other thing that I want to look up is ma apps .NET 5. Add support for .NET 5. When was this asked? This was asked at the end of last year. So we are using this sort of as like a front end library to. So this. Oh. Yeah. See, framework that allows developers to cobble together a Metro or modern UI for their WPF app. So we're not using like the slidey layouty thingies, but we are choosing some of the style and like controls from this in order to make it work. So let's just have a look inside the package manager real quick. I was going to go in there, but then I realized I should check the solution, because it's possible we bleeded those packages into another one of our projects in the solution. So let's take a look. Let's try to not include pre-release and see if it still shows updated versions, because if we have a non-pre-release version we can go to, that would be good. So we're at a great point to just update a bunch of packages now that I think about it, because things are currently not working with packages, so let's give it a try. Let's skip the ones we know we don't need yet. Let's wait on the TwitchLib one, because I'm sure that's going to break things. Oh, wait. I meant to uncheck that box. That was backwards. Hey! Netrage, welcome. Let's get these first. What's it say the latest stable is? Okay, 243. That looks good. Let's install these. I don't think any of these are going to depend on anything down there, so let's go ahead and update these packages, see if it can restore these new ones. Stolly, okay, I've relaxed. Glad you're here. It's okay, we can start the stream now. I do that same joke in a lot of streams where it's like, okay, you can start now. I'm here now. You can start the stream. Oh, I just noticed there's someone named Brendan that works on that. That's not me. That's a different Brendan. That's not my name. I don't contribute to that library right now. I haven't even had time to stream, so the likelihood of having time to assist with that, not really there. Okay, so this one, let's update this as well. Let's see if just fixing these two fixes it, because we were running like an alpha version, so it's possible that maybe, like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't actually read through the error message. I just saw that it was failing to restore packages, and I was like, we're on like, I knew we were on like alpha release packages and stuff like that, because we were slightly bleeding edge when we went to .NET Core 3.1. Maybe. Oh yeah, hey, that's funny. Configuration manager. I don't remember why that's there. We worked on this so long ago. I remember there were a handful of really weird dependencies that we had to pull into this project, and I don't remember why we had to pull them in. But your comment about that is absolutely right. That we do need to dig in and evaluate why we have some of these ones that we do have in here. I know that we ended up with a couple of really weird bits. I'm okay. I'm not surprised. It is one of those. So I'm trying to remember why it's in there. I think we did actually use it for some of our configuration. Um, we have a bunch of config files. I tried to keep a lot of our stuff and our data in plain text or easily readable files. Either everything has to be either like a flat file, JSON, or XML or something that's like basically the rule of building any kind of application like this is you need really really simple stuff. And you might be wondering, well, why would you need really really simple stuff? And the answer is that since we are building a bot that is designed to be used by Twitch streamers and things like that, there are a lot of tools, and a lot of those tools have ways of customizing them, building custom scripts and things like that, and all of them can work a little bit with reading of basic file data. So I already know of someone that is building a companion piece to Interactive 7 that reads our data files. So is when he was talking to me about that, he's like, "Do you have an API or something that I can talk to?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. But since you're going to be read only, why don't you just read it out of the files we're writing to, and then you don't even have to worry about it, because like that's easier than me maintaining an API for you to be able to get the data you want when all I'm going to do is read that file and send you the data. You might as well just read it." So. There are a number of various modules and plugins and stuff like that that exist in a lot of different bots. So if you look at the way most of the bots in games and things like that for this type of stuff works, they use files, flat files, and the reason is we need a binary found. Yes, exactly. So the problem is, as soon as you pick any kind of format for doing this, it's like, oh, well, why don't you just use XYZ simple like database format or blah blah blah. It's like, okay, then they have to have support for that. So like pretty much everything can support either flat files, CSVs, JSON, or XML. So just pick those, and pretty much everything's going to be able to read it, and you don't have to worry about it. So like no matter what it is, they're going to have to understand the schema of the data. No matter how you decided to store it, they need to figure out the schema, but they don't have to worry about understanding the format. So there's tooling that can do it. They can grab a library and be like, yeah, here, read in CSV data. Here's the specified columns. Map it into my object for me. Boom, done. Like that's how I'd do it in C# if I were reading it. That's how you'd do it in Python. Like that's how you pick a language. You're gonna do that. Okay, so does this build yet? I wonder. Let me just try building real fast. And out of curiosity, where does it fail? Since I just started fixing without actually looking to see where it fails first. Okay, so that one builds. Does this one build? Ooh, this one fails. Why this one fails? The Twitch one doesn't depend on anything weird. Oh, it's this one failing. Date time? What? Oh, the testing thing? What? What is this? What is this? Oh. Wow. Okay, so when I said that this code is where we left it midstream, I forgot. I didn't even like clean it. So apparently, the last stream, we must have been in the middle of some tangent discussion about something, and I was explaining stuff and talking about it and going off on some rant about something, and we left the code like that. So I must have had like a hard deadline at the end of the stream, like I had to go pick up my kids or something like that, because that like normally that's what I like right after the stream I go and I clean up all the things. So like even if I don't like commit everything afterwards because I'm like, now I want to do that on stream, blah blah blah. It's like I at least don't leave it in an error in a nasty error state. So let's see what's going on. Maybe now it builds. If so, it might be worth taking a look at. Oh, see, that's still failing. Cannot find the type theme manager. Oh, maybe they moved that. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. We'll figure that out in a minute. My guess is that the library we just updated changed how it is, basically changed where that is, or changed something about the assembly, or the namespaces, or the types, or something like that. Cuckoo Crisps, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and try building a couple more of these, and assuming that these build. Does this one build? That one builds now. Does the web app build? Yep. Because I want to confirm that the only thing broken right now is the WPF app, which should be the case. Okay, so it's just the WPF app now. Is this project in Git? Wheatlaw, yes, it is. It is in Git and in GitHub. So yes, we will be committing. We're wrapping up. So I know I mentioned that last time we worked on this code, I was working on it and like midstream, we ended and just stopped right there. So we're on a branch, and so I could go grab the dev branch, and it probably builds just fine. We're on another branch. We have some code here, so I can revert back to that, and we should be okay. Assuming, for example, that the packages and things we depend on are actually in NuGet. So that is the case that I brought up with Microsoft a long time ago when I was arguing with the team that builds NuGet. I was mentioning to them, I was like, the one problem you run into is if someone deletes the packages you were depending on, if you don't have a copy of it locally, you are out of luck. And they were like, what? That never happens, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm remembering, like, no, so they don't, but they allowed the author to. So in NuGet, at the time that I was having this discussion, the author of a package could just remove any one of their packages, versions, or the package itself. And keep in mind, that's the same kind of thing that happened with NPM when it was like, an author was like, annoyed, and it's like, and removed their package, and like, apps just crumble everywhere because it turns out that was like some underlying dependency in many other packages. It's like, yeah, maybe it makes sense to have, yeah, like there are some problems. You need local copies of those files, it's somewhere. So I've always been a fan of make sure that you've got a copy of everything you depend on. So it's almost like, I get the argument that you don't want to keep them in source control because blah, 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 there's all these problems. They're basically build artifacts, and so I agree. I really am not a big fan of having them in every single version, but I almost feel like, man, like, you should be able to make it so that, like, when you tag a release or something like that, it includes the package with it. Like, you're like, yeah, when it tags a release, make a commit for that tagged version that includes all of the assembly. So at least somewhere you've got a record of, hey, this released version of it has that, or something. Maybe there's some middle ground that you could find for that, which might be a good idea for some projects. Devin and Optimist, yes, I am back. Cuckoo Chris, oh yes, exactly. Man, I I don't even know how many years ago it was at this point that I started streaming, but then I disappeared. Well, for a handful of reasons. At one point for work, and then other stuff. And 2020 was 2020, and 2021's not necessarily better yet. I mean, it is, and it hasn't necessarily gotten better for my schedule. But yeah, I was. It's years ago. Is this when did I start streaming? 2017. When did I start streaming? I don't remember. Something like that. So I might. This stream might be 4 years old now. So something like that. Anyway, yeah, and then I watched gaming streams before that. So Twitch is an amazing place. It's got really creative people. There's awesome stuff. So if you are here for dev content, awesome, glad you're here. But there are other people doing cool stuff also. So I would highly recommend you check some of those out. I do watch some streamers that mod games, for example, and then I also check out streamers that do modeling. So people that work in Blender and things like that. Hey. Thank you very much for the Prime sub, Victor. And Strife. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Glad you're enjoying it. Strife, yeah! Yep, science and tech, exactly. It is a great community on Twitch. So funny enough, it used to be fractured because half of the developer streamers would stream on creative, and half of us would stream on programming. And I streamed on programming because I'm like, well, that's more accurate to what we're doing, even though there's less viewers on it. It's like it's targeted to who we are. And I know that Fritz tried programming for like a week, and then he switched back to creative because he's like, no, there's more people over here. And it's like, yeah, but like we are still creative. So I'm kind of glad they broke out science and tech, because then it's like, okay, so it's not just the programmers. So it's like, yeah, okay, that's good, because there's probably more overlap there. I just wish they could find some ways to try and connect the creative communities together a little bit more, because we also have a lot in common with the communities doing other creative stuff that's not just science and technology. So there's neat stuff all over the place. All the taxonomies, the categories, the tags, everything. I would love a rework of that. I had some ideas for what Twitch could actually do recently, but I'm not remembering what those are right now, because everybody's got ideas. Good to be back. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, exactly. The science and tech is much better than just programming, because the funny thing is some of what we do is sometimes not even programming. It's almost like it falls more into like the design side of things, when you're like trying to figure out how you want the UI to work or something like that. So, and you can't escape that in software development. You've got to have bits of that, and the question is like, well, is like the testing is like, is that programming? I mean, it is. It's definitely part of it. Like that's one of the tasks you do while you're programming, is gray areas and whatnot. So Vic Thorne, yes. So all of my videos do get archived here on the videos section, and I make sure that I do a highlight of them so they stay around forever. But then also, I upload those highlights to YouTube. I warn you, I don't edit them, so I don't like trim them out. I tried that at the very beginning, but the amount of time taken to editing is like way longer than the stream actually takes. So what I do instead is I do some like edited content on YouTube. Where what I had been doing is I make some videos that are actual like scripted content on YouTube, where I'm actually going to talk and explain different concepts. So if you check out my YouTube channel, you can find that content there. But then I also do the archives of all of our episodes. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll see both. And if you don't want to watch the ones that are just these, you can just skip those, and then you'll only get the ones that are like our Dev Chatter basics and other stuff like that. So yes, you are all part of my content, because it ends up in that little chat box over there. Fishing Dev, hey, greetings. Hopefully this weather's been nice for you, and good to see you back too. It's really nice to see everybody showing up for the stream. I wasn't sure how whether or not I was going to show up here and just be working on my own and not have people to talk to. So I'm glad to see that some people made it out. So it's one of those when you haven't streamed in. All right, at the beginning of this, I said I haven't streamed. It's been like 6 months or something like that. How long has it actually been? Let me ask. Oh, About 5 months and a week. So 5 months and a week. Okay, and that was then. Oh, that's what happened. I figured out why I stopped streaming. So like I was streaming, and I think at the time I was doing like one stream a week, and then like a week after my last stream, it was like a few days before the due date of my current youngest kid. By the way, I have another kid. So there's a baby that lives in my house, and so certainly while he was here all the time, streaming was not going to happen because crying baby and streaming. Well, I know some streamers. A good friend of mine is actually doing that, and he does have his baby on the stream, younger than mine. Um, I am not quite so brave. As he's also gaming, not programming, so it's a little bit different because you can kind of, sort of like game probably because he can like pause and things like that. Keyboards and mouse while holding a baby is really hard. I sometimes actually so I work with clients. I work from home. I work from my computer. I do mentoring and training of teams as well as like programming and other stuff like that. But it's funny. I had someone like, "Hey, can you help me out? I'm trying to get blah blah blah. His unit testing working." I was like, I'm like, "Yeah, I could probably do that while holding a kid." And so I'm like, "Yeah, holding the kid." So, you know, but luckily we're just walking through this, and you're the one typing, so it works out well. But I do have to do this. Last time you dropped in was around July 4th. Wow, that's been a while. Uh, no, 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 no. You didn't miss the stream for months. There hasn't been streams for months. Um, yes, I could have a kid that speaks .NET natively. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Although the funny thing is that my so I have two kids. The older one is 3, and during the beginning parts of 2020, we were relying on grandparents because the kids' grandmothers don't really, we're not having to interact with other people, so it was like, okay, we'll just include you in our little bubble and we'll all stay together. So the kid got to program with my mother. So like one of their games has like, programming thing where you basically like give it sets of instructions and it moves. And it was funny. It's really weird so like at the time he was a 2-year-old. It's really weird when your 2-year-old's like, "I love coding, I want to do coding," and you're like, "Yeah, I mean, I love coding too, but I think you're getting overly excited about this, kid." Yeah, and yes, Cal Raven. So the funny thing is, hopping into live share and or even just a screen share or anything like that works out perfectly fine for a lot of that stuff. At least he doesn't aspire to be a manager. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I love training and mentoring, and I also like, I'll say leading teams, not managing teams, is because and one of the big differences there is a leader on the team is usually like on the team and doing things, but is like generally the person, like I consider the leader of the team not to be the person that's making the decisions. The leader of the team, in my opinion, is the person that should be like organizing the making of the decision and also basically acting as a bit of an umbrella for the team. So it's like your job is not to make the decisions; it's to help make sure the decision gets made. Is almost the way that I prefer to think of it. It's like, no, because the team should make the decisions for what they want to do and how they want to run things like that. So and yes, if you're new here, welcome. It's easy to get me off on tangents talking about programming stuff, whether it's software development or anything like that. So if you love talking about software development, teams, managing, running things, and all that kind of stuff, so this is the place for you. And some days are heavier with discussions of programming concepts. We've spent lots of time talking about interviewing and resume writing and stuff like that before. We have lots of great conversations about software development here. And then some days we really dive in and just code, 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 code. So you get a balance of that here. So I really hope that all of you do enjoy that type of thing because we like it a lot here. And I love seeing the community all back in chat. There's so many of our members have made it here again, so I love having you all here. Your team consists of only leads. Well, the funny thing is, Wheatlaw, that does happen on some teams. So in my opinion, the act of stepping into that leadership role almost is it's kind of like assuming responsibility for the team, like taking on the responsibility of essentially doing things for the team, and that is really like a leadership sort of role. Exactly. Yes. See, as Pamit is mentioning there, leadership is naturally gained. Exactly. So like you don't and hi. If the way that leadership is established is, hey, I'm you know, like a higher rank in the company, now that usually is a good like starting point, because usually that like in some organizations that is a good indicator of, hey, this person's been around more and potentially is going to be better at taking on that role. But that is not always the case. So because there is an amount of experience that is needed in order to do like leadership well, because remember I talked about like the umbrella aspect of it, so understanding how to essentially like shield the team, keep them working is almost sort of what I mean, like make sure that the team can focus and do what the team needs to do. Duelist, hello, greeting, welcome. And yes, ownership. Ownership is an interesting. So I think the team needs to own their process. So, all right, let's do some more of this. Can I get all three of these at once? So, since we're diving back into the code, we know we're out of date on a bunch of stuff. I wanted to start by updating a bunch of packages and things like that, because we were running into some package restore issues anyway. So I was like, let's just go ahead and update them and see if we can get it working. Worst case scenario, funny enough, as Wheatlaw mentioned, since this is all in source control, if we have to abandon this branch that we've got here and I have to do this code over again, totally fine. It doesn't matter. That's one of the nice things is a lot of the times code you write doesn't really end up making a difference. Can I not is it not going to let me grab that package? Yeah, I get that it's the resolve package. Could you tell me which package? Maybe it's in the output, actually, now that I think about it. Is it in the build output, maybe? Let's have a look in the build output and see if it tells us which package it is that's messed up, because I was just going to update all of them, because they should all get updated anyway, but... And my hope was that if we just updated them all, it would just work, because it's one of those like, yeah, we need to do this anyway, so might as well. But let's have a look and see if we can figure out what the... if it'll tell us which one actually has the problem. Build started... XAML color scheme generator depends on Newtonsoft, but Newtonsoft 10 was not found. Well, that's funny. So, first off, let's fix whatever that is. XAML color scheme generator? I don't even know what that is. This. Alright. Let's find out what this thing is. Is there a new version of this? What are we on? That's seriously the latest version? I'm now debating whether or not we should be using this. 10 months ago. Okay, so it had... So... This is... Wow, that's an old version. I guess we could look and see if this is... I love that it's got release candidates. What are we using this for? I now want to know what I'm using this for. Alright, let's search. What are we using this for? C-Films, greetings, hello, welcome. I've been doing reasonably well. Just edit the CS project directly. Yeah, exactly. No, we have not chatted in a while because I haven't been here in a while. New color scheme. Huh. What color scheme was it trying to use if I didn't have that? Okay. I don't even remember what this is. It's so long ago since I messed with the theme stuff. All right, we'll try tossing this in, see if this one. Well, before I do that, let's have a look at the other issues. So this one is Windows 3 preview. We'll be doing that. But it's not found. Yeah, so Microsoft Windows Desktop app. Am I missing a? I wonder if I'm missing something. This could be on me. This ooh, this is a good question. .NET Core 3.1 Windows app. Yeah. Let's grab this just in case. Which one do I need? I want to grab the latest 3.1 SDK, which we'll grab this one. I don't know if I've got it, and when I run this, it'll probably be like, do you want to update blah blah blah, and we'll see what happens. I thought this would have come in from my Visual Studio updates, but I'm going to run this and just see what I get. And while I'm doing that, let me go ahead and pull up PowerShell and ask it. Thanks for popping up that thing so everybody can listen to the sounds of Windows messages and freak everybody out, and they think that's on their computer. So I apologize about that, everyone. Please restart your... Yeah, exactly, Palm, and it's going to tell me to restart my computer. I hope not. Okay, .NET... what is this? .NET List SDKs, that's what it is. Thank you. SDK. I can spell. I don't remember which ones I've got installed on this computer. I've been working on that computer lately, which, yes, multiple computers. Comes with my line of work. You sometimes have to work on client computers. Why is this? Oh, maybe it's running slowly because I'm literally running an installer right now. Oh no, I just didn't click enter. Yeah, those are on there. That's 31406. Yeah, okay, it's already on here. Because I was going to say, Visual Studio should be installing these. Yeah, exactly. When yes, multiple machines. You seriously have, like, it is so annoying having extra machines. I've got, like, because you work with a client and it's like, yeah, they've got a computer that you need to use. You got to use their computer. So it's like, okay, yep, all right, sweet. I have another computer. And yes, Pyro, you definitely run into the problem of a lot of updates will break, I would say, as much as they fix. I don't know if I'd say more than. Probably pretty close. Oh yeah, stuff you don't use frequently, you get an update every single time. That is the problem that those of us that don't get to game very often have that own consoles, because it's like, oh yes, you turn on the PlayStation, update. You turn on the Xbox, update. And it's like every time because you're like, I haven't. I haven't booted this in a month because I don't have time to game, and says like, yep, you turn it on and hey, surprise update. Like, I know you had like a couple of hours of time to game. Why don't we waste the first hour of that updating the system for you? Thanks. How did you know I wanted to lose half of the time I was going to be able to game? Freak, have a good one. Take care. I am still alive. And you got your salute backwards. Even when you leave it sleeping instead of off. Yes, exactly. I thought they were supposed to update if you left them sleeping and not off, but I don't know. That's on me bad. Yes, Palm, and I do own some consoles. I do like them for a variety of things. I've always been a big fan of like um, when I want to game in a relaxed way. So I explain to people, it's like sometimes I just want to sit on a couch with a controller and play a video game, and just be basically like lying down playing a video game. And everybody's like, "Oh, you can do that." I'm like, "No, you can't." Like like you say that, like, first off, I'm not a big fan of gaming on laptops, and then if you got a desktop, it's like, okay, so then you got to see your monitor, which then you have to output to a TV anyway, and you got to use a keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse on a couch? No, no thanks, not for me. So hence console. But I do a lot of PC gaming also. Well, I used to do. I used to game more than I do now. I used to be a PC gamer. Consoles and PCs. I like both. Both is good. Hmm. Just because I changed this? Because it was using their color scheme? Or something? Exactly! Yes! Robotic Valkyrie has it! You feel like... It's like, I used to be a gamer. Wife surprised you with a PS5 for Christmas. Calraven, that's awesome. Oh wow! So I haven't gotten a PS5 yet. I plan to get one because I want to go play the Final Fantasy VII remakes at some point. But it's one of those. I gotta buy the console to do it. And see films. The new thing is that I have another kid now, so I've got one of those since last stream. So between those streams, I have another kid, and he's getting bigger. He's managed to roll over a few times intentionally on his own. Well, we think intentionally. He really seems to be trying to roll over intentionally to get on and like to get onto his tummy, but um, it's tough with kids to tell exactly what they're trying to do. Okay, so it's this theme manager helper thingy that is the problem. So this, can I undo this line? Yeah. Bring that line back, please. And what is this Controls X theming thing? I don't even know what these are. Donk. Yeah. So it's like when I updated this, they moved it somewhere else, is what it seems like. So it must not take a resource dictionary anymore? Ooh. Or is it one of these themes? It's gotta be one of those. So now what's it take? A library theme? Well, everybody that said, hey, you're, that this was going to break more things than it was going to fix, updating packages. So far, you seem to be correct. So this, And a library theme provider. So this is supposed to be a resource dictionary at this point. So why is it complaining? I don't know if that's going to cause me problems just doing a new one like that. Now, what's this one? A theme? Why would it not accept new theme as the theme? Oh, this is no longer static. Oh, man, they significantly changed this, didn't they? It almost seems like this is an entirely separate thing now. C films, yes. I only have 2 kids. Your favorite feature is the PS, which allows you to install games remotely while the system is on standby. Seeing how hardware is written on stream would be interesting too. That is very true, Pyro. I would actually love to watch that. C Films, you started your new project. We would love to hear about it. And exclusive PR, greetings. Yes, it has been a while since I've been live on the stream, so glad to be back. Current. That's what it is. So they put it under current, which is way better, by the way. There you go. Found it. Okay, so that's what they changed. So this apparently is coming from here now. Whoops. Is that it? That's color schemes. Alright, I need to look up what this thing is, because I don't even know. Alright, interwebs, please assist with this. What is this? So theme manager. See this section. Okay, so what is this? Changing the theme at runtime. Yeah, this is what we do. Current change theme affected item name of theme. Yep. I think that's what we're doing. Affected item app.current. Oh, interesting. Was I supposed application.current? Yeah, there. Okay, so I was doing that already. Okay, any window? Yeah. So what was I looking for in my XAML? Like color schemes? Yes, Pudding! It is me! I am here! I am the one... Surly Dev, greetings, welcome. And Pudding, based on the 2 of you showing up at the same time, I am guessing that a Mark Miller stream just ended or something like that. I didn't miss something, did I? No, okay. Whoa, I've missed a bunch of chat. Sorry, everyone. You recently got brave enough to just hone your .NET Core app on Ubuntu. Oh, you're hosting it on Ubuntu. Nice. Yeah, so you should absolutely be able to host .NET Core stuff on Ubuntu without any issues. Your new project is a calculator? You mean like something closer, like Excel like, or like an advanced like calculator that does like some really interesting stuff? Because if you just mean like adding, subtracting, blah blah blah, then that's a very simple project. Currently looking into your possibility of working as a remote independent dev. Oh, nice. It is not as easy as it sounds. I am a remote independent dev, and it's an interesting one. So it is a challenging one. So I will say I am always looking for my next project. Uh, Either way, that is probably the biggest challenge of it. So my recommendation to you is make a lot of connections and friends and get to know people and make sure that there are people that know that they can contact you when they have extra work. One of the sad things is I have had some people recently reach out to me and say like, hey, we need someone to lead this project, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of time available and won't for months. I can find someone else, but it's one of those, you need to make sure that you have those people contacting you in order to do those sorts of things. So, and then hopefully you can line up for them. So, if you are going to be independent, make sure that you've got a lot of people bringing stuff to you so that you don't have to be the one finding all of your like future stuff. And thank you, Soly Dev, and Happy New Year to you as well and everyone else. Um, uh, nice, Sweetlaw. Uh, Oh, McFly is a calculator. New. Okay, so you're working on a programming language that is used for doing like mathematical calculations. So that I'm assuming mathematical calculations because you say calculator. But yes, that is awesome. That is one of those areas that gets, we'll say, crazy sometimes. But I do like specialized programming languages for specific tasks. It is one of those. It's the use case for when someone says, "Hey, I'm building my own programming language." I sit there and I go, "There's a reason for that one to be created, right? You're not just making the next, say, current programming language that is popular." Uh, how do I get the theme sync mode? No. 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 Uh. No. 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 Somewhere in here, they're gonna show me how to get these color values. Where'd this come from? Runtime. No. Um. Uh. Yeah. Um. Let's look for that with this. Uh. I'm gonna guess Emmons. Welcome, thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, I didn't just butcher your name, but if I did, let me know, and I will try to say it better. Uh, no, Wheatlol, I wasn't talking about you, but I know a lot of people that have built programming languages, and a lot of them were not doing very specific programming languages, and so it's one of those like, okay, cool, that is a fun way to learn about programming languages. Don't expect that to like maybe you're building the one that gets popular, but probably not. Um, the idea for McFly is to be a cross between PHP and R with a little Python. Okay, that could be interesting. It's certainly a fun project. Um, Ruby with C++ performance. Yeah, the trick with C++ performance is you only get good C++ performance when you write the C++ well. Pitbull Proton, welcome, greetings. Have you seen the Rockstar programming language? That's familiar, but I don't know the syntax of it. Surly Dev. Transition from theme manager controls X. Yeah, this. Hey, Todd Typhoon. Hey, thank you. Speaking of rock stars, oh yeah, those do kind of look like rock stars. Thank you very much for the cheer. Much appreciated. I gotta say, I've been thrilled. So I want to thank everybody for swinging out today because I was not sure. I really thought there was a good chance that I was going to be programming alone today. So I'm glad people made it out. Much appreciated. So I'm really glad everybody's here. What do I like about C Sharp? There are actually a number of things I like about C Sharp. One of the biggest things I like about C Sharp is that the language is continually being improved and still. So it's a mature language that is still getting good changes added to it. So new versions don't always have everything I want, but they're continuing to make new versions that have some of these like features that are going to be useful. So I've been happy about it. Oh, I'm the rock star. Yeah, that's that. Thank you, Todd. It was created because someone tweeted that someone should create one to mess with recruitment agents looking for rockstar developers. You write programs that look like 80s power ballads. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Yes. So the funny thing is that you can absolutely call someone a rock star and say that they're good, but the concept of like if you actually think of like rock star developers as rock star developers, you're probably taking the wrong approach to development, because like someone can be awesome, you can like them, they can be popular. I would argue that like in many ways, like John Skeet is like a rock star developer because everybody's heard, like people in within certain communities really know him and like have a lot of respect for him and listen to him. So that's one of those like, okay, yeah, I get the analogy to rock star there. It's just a dangerous road because you don't want to encourage like cowboy coders and that sort of thing. Okay, that is not helping me, guys. How do I get the current color schemes? It's got to exist somewhere. Okay, so... Runtime... Maybe this is what I need? Huh. Okay, well, the accent selector, in order to make this code just suddenly work, let's see if I can just remove its item source and, is it gonna be okay with that? No. Okay. How about this? Will it be okay with that? Okay. That's fine. We'll do this for now. So this code is not fixed, but I want to get rid of the error because I don't know how to resolve that one just yet. So last one is over here. What's it complaining about? Did they change these? It must be on content instead of label now, right? That must be what it is. Is on. He's on, really? Okay, that's fine. It's probably more accurate because it's called a switch, not a checkbox. So it's whether it's on or off, not checked or not checked. But realistically, we all know that a toggle is a checkbox, right? Like, the toggle switch is like, yeah, this is just a fancy checkbox. That's like, okay. Let's just replace all of those with these in the current document. Let's hope this is the only spot that has them. The is checked will get replaced with is on in the current document. And then let's grab this one and we'll replace that with that in the current document. Let's hope it's not in other documents, but maybe it is. Who knows? Yeah, yes. The challenge with getting into those categories of like is active and is enabled is you start to wonder, does that mean is the control itself active or is the state that it's indicating active and inactive? Because you could have a checkbox or a switch or a toggle or whatever that is disabled and thus can't be changed from on and off. And is that active? Do you call that active or do you call that enabled? Yeah, Boolean value. Like the Boolean value. Exactly. Okay, is that was I just seeing correctly that that was another pile of these? And did I change? Oh, Brendan, you fool, to think that you were only using these. Okay. You win thing. I will manually, I didn't look at the number that were changed on that one. This one was only like 4, right? Is on. That all of them? Did I fix it this time? You gotta love find and replacing, and then you just mess up everything because you weren't actually paying attention. Ooh, did they change the way that this works? Icon packs? It's not called kind anymore? Okay, what are the icon packs? It is, okay, so it's, the Ma Apps icon packs. Let's have a quick look. What did this change to? Icon packs. It's not called kind anymore, is it? Yeah, there we go. But it is called kind. What? Sorry. Oh, is setting just not one of them? Oh, maybe that one just isn't in there anymore. Okay. Do they have them somewhere? Can I see? Do you have all the icons somewhere, or do I need to look it up again? Which one is this? Pack icon material. Whoops. Yeah, I need to grab the latest version of the browser. So, someone made a GUI application that is basically like a library of icons that are available in here. And I was like, ooh, that is the neatest thing ever. And I totally used the heck out of that. Nope. What is this for? Yeah, application settings is probably close enough to what we want. I can't. I'm going to see the icon when we run this. We'll find out what that looked like. Settings window. What is this? What did it not like about that? What's your error? Said it does not exist in the namespace. Something must not be building. Oh, wait, what? That's this. What? It doesn't know the type of data context. It's saying it cannot resolve that property. Object? What's the... Why is it complaining about that? Okay, so we are using that. So, okay, so this... Alright, I bet what's happening is, since this stuff's not building, it's not building the actual backend type so that it can't find it when it's doing the XAML build. So because the CS file didn't compile, the XAML file can't leverage the class that gets created by it, is my guess on what that was that we were just seeing. So we need to do this in a bunch of places. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what that is now. We're going to add current theme to that, and then I need to figure out what the other parameter is there. Whew! Oh man, they changed like all of these on me, didn't they? So the current theme manager, grab the theme. Ooh, themes. What if that's the way we do it? Hey, Nate, you made it. Welcome to the stream. Is it just me, or is XAML a huge amount of pain? No, Pyro, it's not just you. And also, XAML is good and bad, as with like all UI stuff. There are, yes, what Icy Black Deep said. All GUIs are a pain. XAML's pain point is just different from the others. So there are some things that we joke about being ridiculously impossible in like HTML and like other like UI things, where it's like, oh, that's really easy in XAML actually to do that thing you're trying to do, and then you remember it's like, oh yeah, but there's these other yes. So it's the way that they all work, is like there's stuff they do really well and stuff they don't, and things that hurt in them and things that don't, and so it's like, yeah, it's a trade-off of which one you want. So we love, not just you, yes. No, wait, lol, I agree with you. So I love programming, but if you get into programming, just expect that you're going to have a lot of times where things are painful and annoying and don't work, and you want to smash your head into the wall. So if that sounds like you could survive, not survive smashing your head into a wall, survive always feeling like you want to, or you just did, then hey, programming, great career. Good stuff. So powerful, so much pain. Yes, exactly. Valkyrie is correct. And yes, very, very customizable. There's a lot of neat stuff that you can do with WPF and XAML and those sorts of things. Keep in mind that like there are a number of applications that are built using this concept. A lot of Windows applications are built this way, and you can do some neat stuff. So use two frameworks, Swing, Kotlin, React, and both are working quite well. Yeah, so there are a lot of good solutions out there. The app I'm currently I should say my current main client, client being like business that pays me to work with them. They're doing a Vue application, and I still tell you, I love Vue. It's fantastic. I'm going to guess on your name, Noke DeBrizo, and maybe I horribly butchered that. I probably did. If I did, let me know how I can say it better, and I will make an attempt to say it better than I did. But welcome. So yes, this technically is a Twitch bot. The but the important aspect of it is not that it is a Twitch bot per se, and that it connects to chat. It does connect to chat. But more significantly is the fact that it ties into a video game called Final Fantasy VII and allows chat to control it. Now, we built it in such a way that we intend for it to have hooks so that other things other than a Twitch chat can control it as well, because we do want to build a Twitch extension that talks to it, so that we could actually have like overlays on the screen that users could interact with and actually give them a UI to be able to choose and do some things, because there are a number of features that we want to build for our application that really would be a pain to do typing chat messages. So like rearranging, reconfiguring, equipping items on characters in certain ways when there are literally dozens of slots to deal with, and indicating what those numbers are and things like that. So that would all be a challenge. And Wheatlaw, yes, it's been brought up many times. A Twitch plays Final Fantasy VII. I admit I am tempted to try that kind of thing at some point. I think it could be fun. But no, we have not started on that piece. And yes, Vue.js is awesome. Awesome. I'm glad I got close enough on your name. So yeah, does it hook into your video? Can you overlay numbers onto the menu items? So Note the way that Interactive 7 works, it basically lets chat control a lot of aspects of the game. So chat has control of menu colors. They have control of they can add or remove items from the characters. They can change out the equipment of the characters. They can give them new weapons, give them new armor, give them new accessories. They can change the status effects of the characters. I have a branch where you can change status effects on the enemies, though I can't add that feature in for quite a long time because I need to be super, super careful. There's a whole bunch of stuff that has to get locked down because the developers of the game really never intended you to be able to give certain status effects to enemies, because that's not a thing that happens in the game. And so even in the small amount of testing I did, I found massive ways to just completely break the game by giving enemies status effects that they shouldn't have. And so like you need to be a little bit careful with that. But yeah, there's fun stuff that is in there. So yes, Strife is still here. So yeah, Strife, I don't know if you know, but I built that feature a long time ago, and it's never been put in because it just wrecks things. So heck, even just being able to give like an enemy like a regen or a wall or just almost anything, it's like, okay, the game is just broken. Like you peerless an enemy and it's like, okay, it's done, game over. Like this nothing happens now. Yeah, so people often brought up these features, and I'm usually like, yeah, I'm already working on it, I've already looked into it, and things like that. The other weird thing, Strife, which I should mention about, so like, we allow you to change status effects of the characters, which we can determine pretty easily. There are only 3, we can check their names. The problem is the game allows for more than 3 enemies. It allows for a lot, and then you also get to weirdness of how do you specify them, because like, we did top, middle, and bottom as so when you apply a status effect to a character, you can either apply it to the top, the middle, or the bottom character, because they're sort of like, it's technically like a 3-dimensional, like you're kind of looking down at them. So like there's the one that closest, so it would be like the front character closest to the camera, and then the middle and the back. But we called them top, middle, and bottom because they're also sort of look like they're stacked. So it's just the name I went with for that. But you can also specify the character by name, so you could say, you know, apply this to Cloud, apply this to Tifa, apply this to Eris, which works fine. The problem is, with an enemy, when it's got this structure, you can't determine where it was going to place the enemy, so specifying it by location doesn't work. You can't specify it based on name, because the viewer of the stream is not going to know the names of the enemies. So unless we start pulling that data out, put it in an overlay, and show it on the screen so they know what to type, which, again, is a solution for that, but that's something we'd have to build. it's hard to specify. So right now the way that I did it is you specify by number. So like you say like I think I might have done them ABC actually, which I think Strife is saying. Yeah, exactly. So I think I did. I might have done it as ABC. I might have done it as 1, 2, 3. I don't remember what it is, but like they were either numbered or lettered or something like that, and you specified which one that you wanted to hit, or you could say all, and I would apply it to all enemies that were in there. There are issues. Enemies are complicated. The party is way easier until you get into people modding the game, and then once people have modded the game to a certain point, I'm less trying to get our stuff to work. Okay, so we don't have an on-themed event changed because this doesn't exist. The is-themed change doesn't exist, so we can't fix that one yet. So we got to figure out what this is. So it's got to be .current theme changed. There's what it is. Let's just write this again because Visual Studio is just going to create this for me. Whoops. Nope, I want a full method. I don't want to put it here. Okay. Current theme changed. Where did it put that? Here. Okay. So this is the new name of whatever that one is down there that's not working. That's this one. So that is now current theme changed, and then that should be fine. What's this complaining about? Possible null reference. Detect theme current. Yeah, that is a possible null reference. This should default to something. Okay, so why don't we do this? If theme is not null, and yes, I'm gonna not equals. I'm not doing the is not. For anybody that's gonna complain on that, so we're actually gonna do it this way. And the reason why is, I don't know about write. So I guess I could write nothing into the file. You know what? What happens when we're loading it? Theme, read all text, trim, theme name. First theme in here that has that theme name. Since we did first, we'd end up with 0 that matched. We'd have an error. Failed to load the theme error. And just load the current theme. Load that one as the theme. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Actually, now that I think about it, I was just looking at how we load it, so that's okay. There you go. You get dark blue for now, I guess. Which I will pull out as a constant. Introduce a constant. Dark blue theme name. There we go. Now, if that is not correct, we'll be able to fix it in one spot, and hopefully that'll be there. Wait, modding the... no, we're doing the PC version. So it should work with the it's the PC version. It should work with the one. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's 1997. I think it's 1998 for the PC version, not 97. But then I think it works for that version, and it should also work for the Steam version, and I think it'll also work for the Square Enix Direct one that they had before they had it on Steam. So I think any of them will work correctly. And yes, so what's wrong with a not does not equal like an exclamation point equals null? So technically, the only reason why it is a problem to write this code. I'll write this one. The only problem is if someone wrote because This operator actually runs equality from the type. What that means is if someone, when writing the equality methods for that type, messed up the way that it checks for null or did something wrong, or they did something nefarious because they're a jerk of a coder, then this might not work. Whereas, because this tells it run the actual equality methods and do equality comparing this type with an object of that type, so it does that. However, if you write that is null, and in this case we're going to negate it. So if we did this, and this is part of the problem, reason why I don't like it is because that I think they're talking about making this possible where you can write the word not there. I don't know if that's in there yet. I don't think it is yet, but I know they were talking about that one. But this right here, this actually checks C# is determining whether this value is the constant null. So this is an actual check of, is that null? It does not ever go to code that could have been written by someone that messed up the code. So that's the difference. But I just write the equality because I think the likelihood that someone messed up its handling of a check against a null is unlikely, but I guess possible. Depends on the type. So if you do not trust the developer that wrote that code at all, then do an is null check instead of an equals null. Let's see. But C# dev team just makes silly things to do exactly the same thing as what you can already do and makes a bigger list of the features. You have a whole Google Doc written for the people interested in some things that you can do. If dev chatter is okay with me linking it. Strife, yes, you can link your document that talks about all the various stuff that you can do in Interactive 7. And if one of the bots in the chat yells at you, then I'll tell it to allow you to post the link. So if it yells at you, don't worry about it. Only when the implementation also overrides the does not. Yes, Wheatlaw, you're correct. It had to do the operators for that. You're right. Note to Breeze, the case I'm talking about is when you don't control the code. So this code is in another library, so I would have to then send a PR to their package to be able to get that fixed, whereas I could just not worry about it. Exactly, yes. If their override of that operator throws, you got it. That is correct. If they won't be happy until they support every syntax Perl. Icy Black Deep, you're not wrong. I don't know necessarily that it's Perl, but you are correct that sort of the way that programming languages evolve over time is they usually look at other languages that the language developer really likes. So other languages they like, they will look at and try to replicate the parts of those other languages that they like. So you'll notice the conversation that was going on in the chat where description of making a new programming language was basically saying, like, hey, it's kind of like a cross between this and this and this. So C-Films was talking about that, and it's one of those, like, yeah, like, because we can all think of things in programming languages where, like, oh, I love this in C#, I love this in Java, I love this in Perl, I love this in Python, I love this that was in Objective-C, I'm a big fan of this thing that Ruby does. Have you seen how Kotlin handles this? Have you seen the syntax for... And so it goes on and on and on, and there's... You can look at any programming language and find things that were done really well and really cool, and even if the really cool thing they did is a re-implementation of something another language did, you can still look at it and say, wow, they did a really great job of doing this. And you can find it in all languages. And so what they're all doing is they're all looking at the other stuff other people did well and going, ooh, can we manage to get that cool thing that's really useful in that other language into ours? And if they can, they usually do it. Okay, and if someone messes up the code, your application will be messed up regardless of... Okay, well, that's true, Wheatlaw. Thank you for posting that link, Strife. And for anyone that is wondering what Interactive 7 does, that's a good explanation of it. Okay. So up here... all right. So let's duplicate this line so that I can mess with this without... Ooh, okay. Is automatic Windows app mode settings sync enabled? Sync with app mode. It just wrote the thing for me. I mean, that's not what I wanted it to do, but look, it actually did the, like, see the ampersand? It put that in and was like, to check the value, to see if it really was that. Wow, was that ReSharper that did that, or Visual Studio? Who? It wrote, yes, it wrote a thing. You're correct, Wheatlall. It understood what was going on. It didn't write the one I wanted, but it wrote a very related thing to what I was doing. So it had the understanding of what this is and how it should work. Noctabrizo, we wrote the code that interacts with the game. So we are interacting with it directly in our code. And I'm betting it's ReSharper also, because ReSharper tends to be the one that does the crazier ones. Okay. So what I want to do is, so we're setting that. So I think in this case I can just set it to this. I don't think I care what the other options are, but let me take a look at what they are. Sync all, sync with high contrast. Sync with app mode. So I'm going to do that for now. And hope that's what these were doing. It was a long time ago that we set up all the theming in this. So I think that that's what's going to do it. Which, in this case, I'm going to obliterate whatever the previous settings were. So I don't... yeah, so I could do an OR equals on it and use the bitwise operator to add that setting to true, but I think I want to set the mode explicitly to this, at which point I don't care what the other values are, so I might as well just set it to this. Because this would be the same thing as just anding it, but it gives me a setter, so I don't care. So you're right, I would be doing an ampersand equals in this case if I wanted to override whatever any of the other values are, but in this case, well, actually no, because then it wouldn't turn it on. So yeah, I'm just gonna set it to this because I don't care what it was before. All right, so these. So this was grabbing those values, and I'm betting this just added a new parameter. Is that all that it is? Oh, it wants a theme. Okay. So it wants me to make themes from these. Well, I can do that. Can I put these somewhere? Let's get these. I'll put them somewhere else in a minute. Okay, so new theme, new URI, paste that. Oh, it didn't quite do it right. Okay, so I gotta go to the end. Did I get that? Okay, I think I got it. Private theme theme, we'll say theme 1. What are these named? There's the names. Okay. I don't know if I actually want these to be fields or not, but hey. This is where we are right now. So we're going to make this code work. Okay. Don't worry, chat. I haven't forgotten about you. I will be there in a second. How do themes get created? Is it not? Can they not take a URI? New library theme, huh? Okay. How do we create a library theme then? Can that take an URI? Yes. Okay, cool. Alright, that's fine. We'll do this. Okay, end of the line. Close that. Close that. Okay. It can't tell which one I need, so I need to say... What is the library theme provider? Hang on. We're gonna ask this. Yeah, this. How do I get one? Do I actually need one? You can override the library theme. I don't really want to create the default instance. Sorry, chat. Let me look again. Writer is tight. Yes, I agree. Why do you use try catch on almost every function? So warm cup of tea. Those are try catched because I don't want them to fail. So the reason why the saving and loading is like that is because we are just saving those as files, and so because of the fact that that is just a file on the user's system, if they were to like I could go and do all the checks of like, hey, is a file there, blah blah blah, what's the content of it, and do all the little safety checks, but I didn't really want to bother with that. I think we were like, we were just making this work, and it was like, okay. So down the road, what we'll do is we will go and actually look at the file contents and verify that everything's correct and make sure that everything's right, and then we will not be relying on the try-catch blocks. But the easy thing out the gate was, hey, do they have the file? If they do, then it's going to work, and we'll just load it. If they don't, it'll fail, and just grab the setting, and then when they save it later, then we'll actually have the file and we won't worry about it. But for now, I just don't worry about it, and I just say, hey, try to load this. If it works, cool, run. If not, then just fall back to this. So, because I didn't want to deal with writing all the code to actually deal with that, because that's more of like an aside. And to be honest, we're not even sure if we're going to keep themes saved the way they are, because they're their own file right now, and we may end up putting that in its own settings thing. So it's really just a case of making it work and not making it right on that one yet. So when we decide what we want to do about theming and how we actually want it to save long term, then we can deal with that. But that's pretty much just a product of just shoving it in there and it not really being a core feature of our application. So yes, you're correct to call me out on that. we try catch that. You will also find in a lot of my applications that I build that are intended to have an end user that I will try catch them like crazy. And part of the reason for that is I don't want an unexpected thing to cause the application to crash while someone is streaming. So what I want to have happen instead is if we can say, yes, there was a crash, we can log that and let them keep going and just work, then the user's probably going to be happier with that experience. So we only want the app to crash if whatever happened is something that should cause the application to crash. Otherwise, I'm going to try catch it and say, if something went wrong with loading this theme, that's not really a problem that I care about, because the user can keep running the application even if we didn't correctly load their theme, and they're not going to care. And the same goes for saving their theme. If we didn't correctly save their theme choice, that doesn't really impact, like, yeah, the end user is going to be annoyed that their theme didn't save, but I think they're going to be more annoyed if the application crashes. We haven't actually done a public release of this yet, so it's one of those, like, it's on my backlog to go back and basically clean up all the bugs and other little things like that. So handling like saving and loading of files a little bit nicer and other things like that. Exactly. Hey, Katrina, welcome back. And yes, so I highly recommend for anything that you think has a reasonable probability of failing, try catch it. Just period. Just do it. The trick is you only want to catch at the point where you actually can handle something. So the reason I'm catching at that level is because I can catch and make a decision of how to handle it. In this case, it is the handle it is just revert us back to the default value because we don't really care. So if it fails to load the theme, I don't care. And yes, so Wheatlaw's correct. You could catch and then log and then rethrow. Just be careful that you just rethrow instead of throwing a new exception. Otherwise, you can lose your stack trace and other things like that. So I don't know if I have any videos talking about that. But yes, that is absolutely a thing. So you could set the value and rethrow if you want. In this case, I want to avoid a crash because the end user doesn't want that. Is there theme provided a default instance? Where is it? Here? Nope. So I know I can create a new one, but I don't want to just create new ones all the time. So where is it? Is it maybe on the theme manager? I guess I'll find out if that's correct. Whoops. So let's hope that there is one. I guess we'll or default it. Because it did specify that that was a nullable value. So that should be enough to make it compile. Because it accepted a nullable theme provider, and I guess I could give it. It seemed like the thing that's weird about that is that's kind of what not specifying one. I guess because it doesn't have a default. I guess I could just say null. But I kind of feel like I should specify what it is. Theme manager doesn't exist. Yep. Seems like everywhere that we had this is just failing. It's not terribly surprising. So if you're wondering why I want to get this updated, part of the reason I want to get this updated is the fact that we were on like an alpha version of this before, so hence why there's so much change. Because we were basically on like the pre-release version of this for .NET Core 3.1, so our UI stuff does need this update. Okay. Oh man, is the application finally building? Oh, that would be glorious. Close all tabs. Yes. I like IntelliCode. Oh, do I start up, You know what? I'm gonna do it. Coated Beard, greetings, welcome! Long time no see! I think I'm actually gonna spin up Final Fantasy VII and see what happens. Fingers crossed. I don't know what we're gonna get when we do this. I haven't actually run Interactive 7 or Final Fantasy 7 for that matter in a long time. Oh, that's awesome. Because it's in Steam, I know the last time I ran it. I have not run this since July of 2020. That's been a while. Yeah, I know, Coated Beard, a dev chatter stream. It's crazy. I know. Thank you. Yeah, dev chatter stream. This is a rare occurrence. It's yeah. It's just a mask. It's just a mask. All right, let's spin up Final Fantasy VII. Oh wow. Game audio. I didn't expect you to get game audio, so I'm gonna turn that off. Why am I turning that off? Well, let's just say that I don't want to happen to run into licensing issues or anything like that because uh, I'm not playing this game, and you get kind of in a gray area a little bit when you're doing. So we're not exactly modding the game, but we're getting kind of close to that. So we avoid using their assets and stuff just so that we don't run into the like you're distributing their IP. It's like no, we're very careful about that. Like we bleed some names of things, like names of characters. I think that's gonna fall into like the fair use of like yes we have hard coded in the character names but we're building a thing that associates it with it, so it's like yeah um but I'm obviously then not going to like play their music and things like that because I don't want to run into any problems there. So like anything more than just like a clip or something like that. Yes, Coated Beard, been busy. Uh, I mean, people that caught my streams in 2020, that like the ones that I was doing for a while months ago, know that I did move into a new space. So I'm in a new and by new space I mean this is a new house, but well not new to me house. Also, I have another small human, so I have another kid now, so that's always fun. Let's go ahead and get Interactive 7 while I talk about that, though. So yeah, fun stuff. Been working with clients and things like that. So I'm still doing mentoring and training. So if anybody out there is looking for someone to help mentor and train their team, do feel free to have your business talk to me because I do that sort of work. Um, but yeah, it's fun. Uh, I wondered if that was going to work with just switching it to this. Yes. Yeah. There's another minion in the house. So I looked. The last time I streamed was about 2 weeks before. Well, no, 10 days before my newest small human was born. So that is why I disappeared. Um, I'm building an army. No, not really. Although my oldest like has before like last year used to yell about how he loved coding and wanted to do coding, which is funny because he really did like doing coding stuff. Um, invalid URI, invalid port specified. What's the URI we're doing? So these are, but that's not really what we're doing because it's not really a URI. It's like that. Um, Yeah, so we're grabbing it from a XAML component. Let's have a look. New theme. Yeah, here we go. So this is specifying it piece by piece. Do they have an example where they create it with a URI? The answer to that is no, because the word URI doesn't even appear on this. All right. Let's have a look. Source for this. They have a test of themes. Theme template? No. Theming. New theme. Ah, here we go. Yeah. Look, that's doing it exactly the way that we want to do it. That's what we're doing. Yeah, yeah, that is exactly what I'm doing. 100% what I'm doing. So it's funny that they just did null, so I'm just gonna do null. And instead of doing it that way, I'm gonna get rid of this bar. Fix the name. I'm just gonna create them here. The problem is this is gonna be in here, so I'm not gonna detect the error. Okay. All right. You had no idea, to be honest, as you assuming you're occupied your first house. I'll buy this cheap place and do it up, and it won't be that high. Oh, wow, yeah, Coated Beard. Yeah, I bet you were in for some fun. You'll be a year next week when you made the offer on this place, and 9 months since you moved in permanently. Oh, nice, Coated Beard. So yeah, the trick with that is you gotta actually be someone that wants to do all that, like building of the house thing, which I am not. Um, no, not for me. Okay, so that one works. It just goes there, and then what happens when you do this? Is that where it fails? So that builds the URI, but then it fails when it goes in there, huh? Oh. Primary accent color? Resource key theme primary accent color. I wonder if they changed that. Oh, if you guys change this, ooh, I'm gonna be unhappy. Theme.primary accent color. Yep, that is not in there. So they must have a new format or something like that, right? They have a different format for the themes. Because they're not those themes, they're their own system for theming. Yep. Okay, let's see if they have some samples then, huh? Katrina! You did take some, Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Toaded Beard, no matter what it is, there's always more work to be done than whatever you thought it was. Yeah, exactly, Wheatlaw. You gotta love when the error message lists some possibilities, and it's like, you couldn't check to see what it is, and, you know... Um... So this is using the new theming. Really? Wait, does this exist? Hang on. Huh. Neat. I didn't know that was going to be there. Cool. Well, there you go. I guess I don't need null, because this had a theme provider in it. Okay. Alright. Yeah, you have this. This sample is perfect. This is what I want. Where are your custom accents? This was edited 9 months ago to use which thing? Does this use the new one? Does it? Metro. Primary accent color. There it is. See? Are mine customized at all, or are they literally the ones from that sample? They're literally the ones from this sample. So this is dark accent 1. Derp. Thank you. Dark accent 2. And light accent 1. And I'm betting I can just change that 1 to a 2 and get to the next one. Okay. Let's see if that suddenly makes this work. You became a plumber the other day. Oh, nice. Wait, plumber, please tell me it wasn't a gas leak problem or something like that. Because that's not the kind of plumbing you want to do. Your 3 people had looked at it and wanted to charge you $1,000. Turns out they were all wrong, and that would have been a massive waste of money. I do wonder what your issue was, Coated Beard. The most notorious error message is target file is not executable, which doesn't... Oh no! Liner. Setting is not valid package. Yeah, okay. Which file were you in? So, okay, let me just look for kind setting. Actually, you know what? I bet it's in main window, because we're on this one. Yeah. Yes, please stop debugging. Kind equals setting. Since I know that that apparently disappeared, does that exist in my project? It does not. Good. Okay, at least that one's fixed. Yeah, exactly, Coated Beard. That's why I wondered about that, because, like, when I think of plumbing and heating, that's kind of where my mind goes. Like, the plumbers involved in heating are dealing with, like, natural gas lines. And so that's one of those, like, you shouldn't do that yourself. You live in a bungalow. Turns out the standard boiler isn't installed is very different. Oh, okay. Well, Is this gonna work? I don't know if this is gonna work because maybe the Twitch OAuth is wrong or something like that. Can I pull this off screen? What happens when I click settings? It comes over here. I might have to throw my BR or my hide screen up just to hide things. Because if I have to mess with any stream keys or anything like that, then that is an issue. All right, hang on. I'm going to toss the hide. Hey, well, Interactive 7 is actually running. Yeah, so I'm working on it on my other screen right now. I am still gonna put the hide screen up again, but I'm gonna update my OAuth token and hope that solves it. So hang on one sec. Okay, let's see if that so it said it did, but I expected a message. Okay, so commands are not responding, but it claims it connected. So this time, when I clicked the connect button, it actually switched that text to connected. So it definitely got further this time. The question is by how much? So that's a good question I now have. Let me pull this off to another screen just so I don't accidentally show something. Allow game effect commands are allowed. That commands. Okay, let me pull this off the screen for now. Let me see where the chatbot is. Okay, so these get called. This gets run from the chatbot, so it finds the first one that should be run. And then let's see if we get to this point. We're not getting to here. So it connected. We know that much. Message received. So let's see if it can see messages at all. Ooh. It's not getting messages. So the chatbot is not totally... The chat client's not connected for some reason. Yeah, because it tried to. It should have sent that message when it joined the channel. Well, we may end up having to update to the latest version of TwitchLib then also to get this working. Which is fine. It was on our list of things to update anyway. I was just saying let's delay that one because it's a little trickier. Ooh, not connecting. I should look at my logs. Just to see if we're getting an error that I am not seeing somewhere, if we're logging something. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Let's have a look. It'll be in here. Really? Oh, I hope not. Okay, let's see. Date is that's today. Here's a log file. What's it say? This is okay. Connecting to the IRC WS chat twitch.tv, yeah. Failed to determine the... Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that was now. What is this? Yeah, so theming's still messed up. Client not initialized. The Twitch client has not been initialized and cannot be... Okay, it claims it connects. That's weird. Yeah. Lime. Let's drop a breakpoint here and restart and try to connect it again. And I'm going to check the log when we hit connect. Okay, it says it connected. We get to here. I need to be careful here. Is initialized true. Joined channels 1. That's the username. Okay. It did not say that we're live. Now, what does it say in the log file at this exact moment? Joined channel dev chatter. Yeah, receive that. It got that it is a subscriber and a moderator. It knows about which emotes it's supposed to have. It knows that it's a mod. Remote only and followers only are turned off. Have the room ID. Has all those other things. So it's got all the information about room states and everything. That's weird that it's logging a bunch of stuff here. Let me take a look. Did it log a bunch of stuff to the log at that point? Okay. Getting status hub did that, received that. You got that thing. So it told me a bunch of people that are in chat, like Pudding and Strife. Okay. Yeah, but we're not receiving those. Okay, so wait, this is receiving a message, so hang on. So we got this. What's the command text? Rainbow. Wheatlaw, we're in your command. Did we get a command error? Did we log out a command error? Nope. We got a message from Wheatlaw that says, I am in. Oh! I didn't read that. Oh! Did it connect this time? Oh, it did! It did! Yay! Yay! Look! Now you think that's cool that it's doing that over there on my stream? But that's the cool one. It was doing it here too. So there's Rainbow. So hooray, we're connected and it's working. And no, it's not just on this menu, it's like anywhere. So you can be, oh yeah, Lime. It's gonna switch to that after we after the rainbow's over, it's gonna be Lime. So Wheatlaw put that in the queue. Luckily for you, I'm smart enough not to put, and you being the chat viewers, yeah, Rainbow is going to run for a while. So anything else you put in just gets queued, which means I can also queue up the default one to come in after Lime. And then someone else could be like, no, we need to put in Fuchsia. And then they could say, no, it needs to be Lime. No, it needs to be white. Whoops. Menu. No, it needs to be black. No, it needs to be random. And so you'll see it switches over to Lime, it switches to white, it switches to black, and now it's going to go to random. There we go. So the cool thing is it does queue all those up, so if you put in a whole bunch of them, they do just get queued. So whenever we're sitting on a rainbow, that's what happens. And yes, you'll notice that white is not totally white, which is useful. So... Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So, hooray, it actually is working right now. Menu, wait. For anyone that is wondering, red, orange, blue, green, you do have, like, control of the colors of that. Like, it's not just random or anything. You can pick what colors it blends together. Okay, so awesome. That is working. Yay. Code. What even happened here? A whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. That's fine. We can commit a whole bunch of stuff. I need to figure out how we get the color schemes again, because that accent selector is going to be busted until I do. Oh, actually, that's a good question. Do some of these commands that I messed with, do they work? Oh, Vorpal Thunder. Yeah, we don't need to do that. That's no fun. We don't need to use those. All right, I'm gonna be brave here for a second. Yeah, see, sorry everyone, that's bright. Well, it says it worked. Let's see, did it? Oh yeah, it did. So Popper works. Sorry, Stolly. I can't prevent chat from changing to terrible colors. So there are some streamers that I have sent Interactive 7 to our program, and there are people that actually play Final Fantasy 7 on stream with this code running. And if I attend their stream, I always show up with something like lime or fuchsia or something like that, and just say, "Hey, how's it going?" Then I immediately switch it to something else because I don't actually like it's surprisingly bright because some people have like it's like it's big screens really yeah Strife knows what I'm talking about, like it it is and it's funny because it's like people are like, oh yeah, it's like I know the terrible colors, my chat found those back when we were building this like they figured out long ago that lime hurts your eyes, and I think fuchsia is actually worse than magenta. Yeah, that one wasn't bad. And see, this really is not that, like, it's bright, but that's really not that bad. So much worse are the solid color ones. The thing that has always shocked me is the fact that random rarely is that bad. Actually, the randomly selected palettes usually look okay. They might not be what you'd choose, but they usually look all right. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop that. So I know I was in the middle of a bunch of stuff. So let's just go ahead and here be dragons. I don't even know what to do with this. I'm gonna be honest on that. I don't know what to do with that one. Because so if you're wondering what that commit is, I am too. I think that's the code we were writing in July of 2020 that for some reason I had to run at the end of a stream, and so I didn't commit it at the end of the stream. And so it's like, okay, there was a bunch of code that was in progress, and I'm not sure what it was. So I will figure that out when we PR it. We'll look at the comparison and see what happened. But for now, I want to make sure it's committed so that we can at least see our next changes. And I'll PR outside of the stream, like not complete it, but like set it up so that I can figure out what was in that. And then we'll be able to hopefully work some more on that. Regarding Interactive 7 and the stuff I want to work on with that, I want to try and get it so that I want to do a bunch of the bug fixes that have been sitting on our backlog for literally a year. I want to get a whole bunch of those wrapped up, and then we can just release a version of Interactive 7 that people can use. Stolly, if you want to do random, you actually just specify random once. So you just say menu random. But also, Interactive 7 is not running right now, but I can spin it up if you want, because I did close it there. Figure out what your commits were, rebase them into a nice history, and PR off stream. Yeah, exactly, helpful stranger. I'm not. They might already be on dev because I don't like unless I merge something else in, so I may not have to rebase. But I do want to at least get a good comparison of like what the heck was in this branch that I was doing, which will also give me the chance to determine is it done, because it is possible that stuff we were working on is not done, and thus could use a few more changes before we PR it. But the PR is going to be the way that I get a nice comparison of this against dev, and I can see what actually needs to happen. Because I don't know exactly what we were working on. Stolly, I apologize. I don't know what you just said that Nightbot freaked out about. But it apparently thought something was a link. Nightbot's overzealous, always has been, but I can't fault it. Scott Doc, wow, long time no see, man. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Helpful Stranger, I have always had link protection on while streaming. So there is a long list of like approved domains that you can link to. Because I think you can link to any of the Microsoft things. I thought I cleared it so that it's supposed to know that ASP.NET is an okay, yeah, like ASP.NET, exactly. Because a whole bunch of people are going to type it and they didn't even mean the link, and it would freak out about it. And see, yes, see, yep, you're checking some of those. I know I greenlit a bunch of them, and then there are a handful of users who are also in like the like they're in like the allowed list of like a bunch of people are just allowed to post links. And when I get around to specifying someone, I have not messed with that list in like 2 years. So regulars from like 2 years ago are clear to post links. The funny thing is, I don't think Nightbot respects the VIP category unless like they may have changed that. I haven't. So keep in mind, I haven't been streaming in a while. Wheatlaw, you might be on the allowed list, which is a scary thought, and I maybe shouldn't have even told you that. Dangerous to tell Wheatlaw that link posting might be just maybe. I don't remember who's on the allowed list. So Katrina clearly can, being a mod, but yeah. Essentially the idea is like random people could post links to things that you really don't want random people posting links to, and with our audience being a bunch of devs, I would expect that we're all cautious enough not to click on random links that end up in chat without really looking at what they are or where they're going and things like that, but yeah, better safe than sorry. So, and Icy Black Deep has found out that the allowed list is not everyone. So yes, you can go ahead and post links and get Nightbot to time you out for a bit if you want. That is totally a thing you're allowed to do. I can permit people to post links also. It's something we put in way in the beginning, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just safer to just have like a thing just blocking links, just to be careful. It messes up all the time, but I'm also not that worried about it because if someone really does want to post a link, then they can, send the link to a mod or ask me about it or ask a mod and get permitted for it. So it's been fine for us forever. We've literally done hundreds of streams without any issues with it. So doing something in the vein of Ice 7 for Among Us might be an interesting next project after I finish the current proxy chat mod. Yeah, Helpful Stranger. So I will say I am interested in working on a bunch of others of these. And because I do want to build the same kind of stuff for... And yes, so the key, one of the things Wheatlaw's mentioning here is that the stuff that I build for Interactive 7, you should only, like this type of stuff, you should only be building this really for like single player games, things like that, or at least locally hosted. If you are going to get into multiplayer, make sure it's locally hosted kinds of things, because this kind of stuff shouldn't be like, there's no problem with if someone wants to mess with their own game. It's quite another story if you want to mess with someone else's. So, exactly. So, hosting a game, that's what I mean. Like, you'd be modding a server. But I guess you could do a Twitch Plays style variant of it. Thank you for the heads up there, Coated Beard. But the idea is that if someone is interested in doing this kind of stuff, I am planning on trying to, like, once I get this initial version out, I do want to hopefully get a community helping with some of these things, because I do want to build a whole bunch of other interactive games, including the other Final Fantasies that are around the same area. I did want to know Coded Beard. I'm going to have to jump to that quickly. And then also, if there are other stuff that people are interested in, I would be glad to talk with you about it. Um, Yeah, exactly. So, like, if you're gonna build for a multiplayer game, you do know that the trial branch of messing with Interactive 8 exists, Strife, because I have started messing with stuff. I did that a long time ago. I was like, well, can I do this stuff? And so I started looking at that. So Interactive 8 could get some crazy stuff in it. So could 9. That being said, I do want to be able to do this kind of stuff for other games as well, because I think it is a neat thing. If you're not affecting the game, but you're just changing appearances and things like that, and just like cosmetic stuff, you can do that for pretty much any game. So either way, okay, so stuff I want to talk to all of you about. I don't know if we're jumping back to our normal schedule. Today we were a little bit later than our usual schedule. We usually start at noon on Thursdays. So our old schedule from forever ago that we did for years was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we started at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And on Thursdays, we started at noon Eastern Time in the United States. And we did Saturday streams at 1, again, Eastern Time in the United States, 1 p.m. So afternoon, basically middle of the day, my time, which means we're an evening stream for Europe, and we're a morning stream for Western US, and like middle of the day stream for Eastern US. So it seemed like when I originally set it up, I was like, that's a good time. In middle of the day, I can do that. I can, basically like stop work and do that, go back to work afterwards. And it worked pretty well for me then, and it may still work now. Saturdays might get weirder again. Kids and sleep schedules. The Saturday streams, you might not know this, but those Saturday streams, the reason why they were 1 o'clock is that was nap time for my kid. So he would take his nap at 1 o'clock, and so I would just stream during his nap, and then when I was done with the stream, he would be up, and then I'd go play with the kid. So it worked out really nicely, because it's like, oh yeah, I'll just stream while he's asleep, which was great. He doesn't nap so well anymore, and his brother's nap schedule is really kind of hand wavy, because again, still an infant. But so Saturday's the one that is most likely not going to happen, but hopefully I can start getting into the Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays again. I might shift those days around. So pay attention. If you're not following the stream, make sure you do click the follow button so you can get notification. And if you turn on notifications, that's the best way to make sure you show up. And don't miss a stream. We also have a Discord. I did post in my Discord that we were going live today, but not until literally I was live, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. Again, this is the like our first, hey, we're back after like 5 months. So it has gone well. I've been happy with this one so far. So definitely going to try to get more of these on our schedule. Hopefully we can get back to the normal one. But either way, I'm glad that everybody was able to be here for this. So yay! I seriously was worried that it was going to be like 5 people and no one would show up. So you all have made my day, and I want to make sure that I thank everybody. And so let's jump to the credits and say thank you to Todd and Noctabrizo for cheering on this stream. I want to thank our moderators, Katrina and Sean and Stoolpenner, for helping out with the stream today. I want to thank these wonderful people that followed us. And I know Stoolpenner gifted some subs to some of the people on the top of that list, and then I think Vic Thorn, Strife, and Nate were the ones that subbed themselves, if I'm remembering correctly. So thank you everyone for hanging out today. I think our next stream, based on that, is probably going to be on Monday. Pay attention for the Saturday one. It might happen, but again, I will talk with the family and see whether or not that one will fly on Saturdays, but definitely the Monday or Tuesday one are the next one I would expect. So thanks for hanging out today, everyone. Have a great day. Happy coding. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully wherever you are, the weather is at least somewhat nice. I know it's cold for most of us, but if you can, get out, enjoy. It's not all coding, though. Take care. Enjoy, everyone. Bye.